When you hit the gas in your vehicle, it climbs the speedometer as quickly and thoroughly as you push the pedal in. However, it still must go from 0 to 60 in a transitional fashion. That is, unless serious modifications have been made to the engine and fuel injection system. Likewise, when manifesting, although instant manifestation is possible, it is not as often experienced, especially at the beginning. 1. It's evidence of still some underlying disbelief in the ability, worthiness, or possibility of such a manifestation. And 2. By the nature of change itself. Even instant manifestations undergo some progressive realization, much like increasing the acceleration of a vehicle makes the change in speed more instant but nonetheless still over some time frame. And with that in mind, after strongly intending something, begin to see the small evidence of it taking hold. For instance, money. You meditate and visualize money, improving your relationship with it through scenes and positive beliefs, and now you coincidentally find $10 on the ground. Not enough to change your life, but uncommon enough to realize that you created this. Now, you could say, bah, all this hard work and all the universe gives me is $10 lousy, and forget all about this because you expected to win the lotto instead. Or you could say, hey, this stuff works, look what is showing up already. And use this experience as evidence to further beef up your belief, thereby accelerating the transformation even more. Too often, people turn back because they aren't aware of the small changes themselves are not final manifestations, but beginning manifestations as you improve your beliefs on a certain topic. Now, to that end, improving to the point of instant manifestation is very possible, and likely you'll have experiences that feel more or less instant. However, these experiences arise generally by both having a strong belief system backed up by personal evidence, and improved strong belief around the desired topic. Heavy modification is the prerequisite for going from a Ford Focus to a Formula One. The nuanced part of awareness being transmitted is the constant conscious awareness of the world as an extension of self, to the same feeling degree as one's own body. It's a level of acceptance of your hand being your hand which is intuitive and never questioned. However, that self-identity of hand as self is itself an illusion created by habitual perceptual association, whereas in reality, even the body is external to the actual self, I, God, awareness, consciousness, etc., but also because the actual self is the basis of reality itself. Obviously, it follows that the perceptual self and the perceptual world are actually one's own self. Much like in a dream, there is a subjective perspective of a self, and then there are the characters and backdrop in the dream. In the dream, all of these people and things seem separate, yet upon waking it is realized that it was all me having a dream, basically an introspective hallucination of the highest order. This is happening here as well, but on the order of God, who is the one connected to consciousness behind all eyes. Of course, this could yet be another dream within a dream, but nonetheless here we are. Now, once the consistent perceptual feeling and awareness of everything as self is steadied, what naturally emerges are imaginative preferences. These imaginative preferences then strike a relaxation in oneself, a calm acceptance of the truth and inevitability of the outcome. Most often, when trying to manipulate others with imagination, the focus and effort are tense and willful, but one only confesses the difficulty that one believes in the outcome of the desire. The basic awareness and acceptance of the outside world and its people is mere extensions of your own body, or that feeling state is a powerful prerequisite to manifesting on the fly without ritual or meditation. Because with that awareness that people are no different from your own fingers, then the sudden realization is that all difficult circumstances are by your own accidental design. Further, ultimately it is yourself that is responsible for it all, and then it can be accepted that all outcomes are good, but simply you had less awareness before, like a dog chasing its tail and creating your own difficulty. All outcomes are good. They either reward you with pleasure or remind you to once again remember you aren't human. You are God merely imagining as a human, and can regain control. It's never done by action or force of will. Acceptance of the end wills the means. Naturally, all this may be difficult to swallow at first. Still, I promise, once this confidence is reached and tangible beneficial coincidences just happen even without conscious intention, you'll be changed for the better forever. When you want something, and you actively move to convince yourself it is already done, live firmly in your desire, in it and firmly from it already having happened. Yes, it will take practice and conscious effort, but assume you have what you want and never let doubt creep in without a firm rebuke as false nonsense. Most importantly, there may be things, events, and circumstances that happen forth in your world to make you doubt your newfound knowledge. People may cross you, and bad luck may make itself known. Ignore it. This is merely your former state of mind leaving your character as your new belief comes into being. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself will not stand. You must remain focused on your goal, so that these externalized fears, doubts, and worries are manifested and gone, replaced with faith and confidence and perfect faith. Imagination persisted in, hardens into fact. With perfect faith, all things are perfected. It's always difficult to put out a synopsis for topics like this. There's the feels good stuff, that's easy, feel good. Concentrate on desires. Enjoy without needing. Remind yourself of positive things frequently. Record successes. Turn towards media and people who inspire feeling easy and stable emotions and godly awareness. Everything else, like the nitty-gritty implications of social interaction. What do things mean even anymore? How to see people. It would have been quite interesting if Neville had a diary of his more insightful nuances. It's a new operating system installing, and in the process, keep finding situations where either former or new beliefs are creating friction, and so a workaround to resolve what computational conflicts there are, either written by the self-identity or by a different self-identity. There's a lot to measure and test, but once the main thread is figured out, the nature of reality is conceptual truth, which has a few essential qualities, and all things are a shade of those qualities to some degree, making life an ongoing expression of numerical infinity at heart, whose qualities of sense experience are derived by self-referential mathematical functions, and thus creating patterns of expression that interlace with other patterns and gather simple collections of qualities in through comparison to surroundings. These patterns are interacting with other patterns along the largest amplitudes of their frequency. This interaction itself is the experience and adding of information in reality itself. Adding in an important term, because instead of creating or selecting, adding the information implies both, but it also denotes an ability to subtract or otherwise consciously modify the sum of reality. The interaction being the moment of conception means that consciousness of what things are is an ongoing relationship with a topic, and what it is and what it can do. What is its utility towards certain states of being. Over time, this resonance is a product of expectations whose evidence is past and repeated experience, feeling intense acceptance. That gives character to the experience and gives increasingly more detail to the experience of its qualities. This information is the pattern of experiences itself, which is a composite of interwoven pure numerical patterns. Changing these patterns is a matter of believing reality differently, adding or modifying information differently in reality, and observing the results. This transformation to create an information system of beliefs is selling the soul, the social and cultural caste, and the fate of a particular human body, and without God's more objective perspective, life's expression cannot be free of prejudice towards habits. There are many deeper things to look at and understand, even simply just through time. Eventually, it must be encountered and decided if one is God, and if so, one must be of God. And the only free will in creation is the will of God, which humans, created in God's image, are and can express that will. Human egos, being constructs, are limited inherently by themselves, being a pattern made of patterns, and so are already the effects of other causes and limitations. Only God can express will freely, and so, remembering consciousness is God.